अस्सलाम वालेकुम। प्रोग्राम एम्बेसी रोड में खुशामदीद। नाज़रीन, आज हमारे इस प्रोग्राम में मेहमान हैं पाकिस्तान में यूरोपीय यूनियन के सफ़ीर यां फ़रासो कोता, और हम उनसे पाकिस्तान और यूरोपीय यूनियन के ताल्लुकात के हवाले से गुफ्तगू करेंगे। यूरोपीय यूनियन पाकिस्तान का एक बड़ा तजारती पार्टनर है। यूरोपीय यूनियन पाकिस्तान को तालीम, सेहत और दूसरे शोबों में इमदाद भी फराहम कर रहा है, और इसके अलावा GSP+ समझौते के तहत यूरोपीय यूनियन ने अपनी मंडियां काफ़ी हद तक पाकिस्तान के लिए खोली हैं, और पाकिस्तान इस समझौते से बड़े पैमाने पर फ़ायदा उठा रहा है। उसकी जो गैर मुल्की इनकम है उसमें बेपनाह इजाफ़ा हो रहा है। इसके अलावा यूरोपीय यूनियन पाकिस्तान में तवानाई के शोबा में पाकिस्तान की मदद कर रहा है। बहुत से और ऐसे मनसूबे हैं जो यूरोपीय यूनियन के ताउन से पाकिस्तान में ज़ेर तकमील है। इन्हीं मौज़ूआत पर हम आज पाकिस्तान में यूरोपीय यूनियन के सफ़ीर से गुफ्तगू करेंगे। Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure to have you here.
Recently, a important function was held regarding the International Women's Day in Pakistan. European Union organized it and sponsored it. It was quite a success. How do you look at the women's scene in Pakistan? The government of Pakistan claims to have done a lot of things, a lot of steps have been taken to improve the lot of women in Pakistan.
I think what we organized for the International Women's Day was exactly about, supporting the government of Pakistan when the government is trying to promote and empower women in the country. It was about women and elections. And obviously in any democratic country, elections are important milestones in the democratic life. Yes. And we are supporting obviously the government of Pakistan in trying to be as much as inclusive as possible when it comes to elections, and in particular to make sure that women can have a say, not only, by the way, as voters, but also as candidates. So this workshop actually was about that, about having a number of women and men actually coming from different horizons and to work on a number of issues regarding women and elections. And obviously keeping in mind that your country is going to have a general election in 2018.
Yes.
But more generally speaking, on women in Pakistan, I mean, we do recognize that the previous government, this government, are making efforts to improve the life of women on the role of women in Pakistan. Obviously, if you look at some data, if you look at some ranking, for example, of that exist, for example, the gender
equality
gap, exactly, the gender equality gap.
Yes.
Pakistan is not very good on that, and I think there is clear room for improvement. But it is important that there is a strong political will that we see now. It's important that legislations are passed to promote women, empowerment of women. It is important that education is also accessible for more and more girls, because obviously changes will be coming from this angle as well. It's important also that men realize that if they want to have a stable and prosperous Pakistan, they need also to unleash the potential of all women here in Pakistan.
The EU has been emphasizing the empowerment of women through their participation in elections, and to give them the right to vote, specifically in the areas where the women are usually not allowed to go to polls and cast their votes. In that context, has Pakistan been able to make some progress?
I mean, I think what was interesting to see at the last election is that in this I would qualify maybe some conservative parts of Pakistan where For example, women were blocked actually to go voting. The Supreme Court actually decided that it was not acceptable, it was illegal, and then there was a by-election in these places. And we are rather also pleased to see that in the next election bill,
2018.
2018, and the bill which is now still under discussion in the National Assembly, it seems that the threshold of 10% turnout of the global voters in one constituency will be kept. I think it's important. You have to have this kind of positive discrimination, if I can put it like that, to push the agenda for women.
But is European Union providing any kind of assistance to the government of Pakistan or the election commission or political parties to motivate women and to go to polls and to take part in this electoral process and not keep themselves away from it?
We are going to provide support actually not to the government of Pakistan but to the Election Commission of Pakistan, which obviously is an independent body, and for the next election. And it will be around trainings of the Election Commission of Pakistan staff, and obviously the gender aspect of it will be a key component, yes.
But the steps that the Election Commission has taken in this regard, are you happy, satisfied with them?
Actually, it was one of the said of Pakistan should also make sure that not only they will have gender-sensitive policies on implementation, but also that their own staff should be much more gender-oriented, if I can put it, or more equal in terms of gender. Yeah.
So moving away from this women participation in electoral process, the European Union is also helping Pakistan in other fields like education, for instance, health. Can you say
not health, actually. We are not involved in health. Education.
Only education.
Yeah, education.
So where is your focus on education? Because educationally also Pakistan is facing a lot of difficulties. Pakistan has not been able to achieve the target of
MDGs.
Yes.
We are focusing at, obviously now with the 18 constitutional amendment, we are focusing at provincial level. And currently we are working in KP, in Sindh and Balochistan. And in the next coming year, we want to put even more emphasis on the Sindh, but also especially in Balochistan, because it's where actually looking at the data, the situation is the most difficult, and especially when it comes to girls, by the way. So we want to put a special emphasis on that. We are focusing on mostly on primary education, but not only. We are also focusing on secondary education. But what is important for us is to follow the policies and to support the policies of the provincial governments. We don't want to build a parallel system. So what we are doing is really to fund the provincial governments to support their own policies.
Well, obviously you're keeping an eye on what the provincial governments are doing with regard to enrollment of girls in schools and providing them access to education, facilitating them.
Actually, the way it works is we agree with the respective provincial governments on a set of benchmarks or targets. And our contribution will be based on how this benchmark or these targets are met or not. So if a provincial government performs well, if they reach the different targets that we have commonly agreed,
they'll get more funding.
Then they will get more funding. Exactly. Right. That is
so
incentive.
In that context, which provincial government, the Punjab government or the Sindh government or the Balochistan government or KPK, which is ahead of others?
If I look at least for the time being, we are not doing it yet with Balochistan. I would say Balochistan is still a kind of more traditional program. It's not budget support as we are doing in KP and Sindh. We have seen very positive progress in KP over the last years. We have seen also in Sindh important policies on reform taking place. So we are quite optimistic that actually in the next coming years, with still a strong political will of the different provincial governments and our support, I think the improvement will be clearly there. Yeah, but Balochistan will be probably more difficult. It's, as you know,
yes,
it's the largest province of
area-wise.
Exactly, but population is a bit scattered. They are coming also from data which are very low, so I think it will be probably more difficult, will require more efforts there.
So are you monitoring the system, the funding that you are providing for girls' education in these provinces, and you are monitoring that your money or the funding that you are providing is being utilized properly and it's not abused?
We have a set of evaluation and monitoring tools, obviously, to make sure that the European Union taxpayers' money is well spent. And when I say well spent, that it benefits the real beneficiaries. Exactly. So in this particular children of Pakistan. Yes, indeed.
So do you have this funding is going through the government of Pakistan or through the NGOs, private sector?
No, actually it is for KP and for Sindh it is going through the government.
Okay.
As I said, as budget support with clear benchmarks to reach and targets to meet. For Balochistan, we are still working with international partners, yes.
Ambassador, but are you giving some kind of guidelines in preparing the syllabus, the kind of education that you want them to impart to girls, or you are building schools, or?
As I said, I mean, we are really supporting the policies of provincial government. So if their emphasis is on reform, or if their emphasis is on enrollment, or if their emphasis is on improvement of the teachers, it will be what we are going to support. So we are not there to pick and choose. We are really there to make sure that proper policies set up by provincial governments are implemented and supported by us. So we are, I would say we are surely not trying to interfere into that. But what is very interesting is that by doing this kind of common grids of benchmarks targets, we are entering in a very interesting dialogue with different provincial governments. And then we can also bring in actually a technical assistant who can support the government in their different policies when it comes to education.
All right. Thank you, Ambassador. We'll take a short break and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the Treaty of Rome. And we would like you to shed some light on that. नाज़रीन, एक मुख्तसर ब्रेक लेते हैं. ब्रेक से वापसी के बाद हम पाकिस्तान में EU के सफ़ीर से मज़ीद गुफ्तगू करेंगे और उनसे पूछेंगे कि पाकिस्तान को हम ख़वातीन के और बच्चियों की तालीम के सिलसिले में इमदाद फ़राहम कर रहे हैं और प्रोविंसेस में, ख़ास तौर पर सिंध में, बलूचिस्तान में और KPK में EU मदद कर रहा है बच्चियों को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा तालीम से रोशनास कराने के लिए. Ambassador, Treaty of Rome is something which is very important, but probably our viewers are not very well aware of various aspects of the treaty.
Treaty of Rome, yes, it's a founding act actually of what is now the European Union. It happened on the 25th of March 1957, and actually I'm a child of the Treaty of Rome, because I was born also in 1957. So for me, it's something which I always remember. It were the 6 founding members of the EU decided to actually sign on this treaty, which is the seed of the European Union.
It emerged from this
Obviously,
agreement.
you know, the rationale of the fathers of the European Union was after the First World War, the Second one, even where we really tear apart all the European continent, and we had millions of people killed and all the atrocities you can imagine.
A lot of devastation.
Exactly, yeah. So people thought, I mean, the fathers of the EU thought that never again. So we had to find a way to prevent war between European countries, and especially between the two countries which had been at war for many times, Germany and France.
France, yes.
And actually at that time, obviously, what was important for any country was how to deal with energy supply, which was coal at that time.
And steel
and
as well.
steel to build guns, actually. That's it, to make guns. And in the EU, when you look at the map, actually, when you had at that time the mines for coal mines, and also the steel plants, were a kind of triangle between France,
yes.
Germany, Belgium. So they decided that all what was about coal and steel should be put in common among these countries. So you had 6 founding members: Italy, France, Germany, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands.
Okay.
So that are the 6 founding members of the EU, which became the EU. And they signed this Rome Treaty, which was about, as I said, putting in common the steel and coal resources at European level, at least at their level. The 6.
It is also known as Steel and Coal Community.
Exactly. That was the steel and coal community.
Yes.
And it was the first time in Europe to have this kind of supranational, because you had a high commission to deal with that. And it was the first time that you had this kind of supranational organization to deal with these resources in common.
These strategic resources like coal and steel.
And that was the start of the story, start of the journey of the European Union. And what is, I think, interesting to see is how what was already at that time a political project, if I can put it like that, because the end goal is prosperity and peace in Europe, actually started with, I would say, a rather modest economic project among 6 countries.
Yes. Well, Master, it also transformed, I mean, the Treaty of Rome further, took steps, and it became EEC.
Yes,
European Economic Community.
Community, exactly.
In the initial stages.
Yeah.
And subsequently from that emerged the current European Union.
Yeah.
So the journey from Treaty of Rome to EEC and European Union, the countries are satisfied with their progress?
Actually, when you look at how we have built the EU, I mean, again, starting from a rather modest economic project, then there was obviously a much more ambitious, which was the single market. That you had, and then the EU, was built from 9 to 12 to 15, then to
26,
24, then 20. So, and we are 28 today. But what is important is also to see that the economic project itself, even if the single market is an important one, how the political leadership of the EU member states felt that they needed also more element for that they needed also to bring in, the political aspect of the EU, that it was in a very fast evolving environment around the globe. It was not good enough or not enough to stay only with a single market. And then, we added to the EU all what we have now in terms of dealing with internal affairs, dealing with external issues. I mean, the fact that you have now,
issues, foreign policy.
EU delegation dealing with the political dialogue with Pakistan here. I mean, all that is coming from. At the same time, that probably has brought difficulties to the EU, because within the different member states of the EU, people do not have always the same vision of that. Or the different successive democratic governments of the 28 member states had also some different views on how the EU should evolve. So it's a very difficult project, because every time that you have an election in one country, in one EU country, you might have, slight changes in terms of how this country will behave vis-à-vis the EU project. And obviously, a very, I would say, not positive aspect we had recently was the referendum in the UK,
yes,
where the British people, exactly, the British people voted in favor of leaving the EU. So that, let's be clear, I mean, as an EU official, but also personally as an EU citizen, is something that I deeply regret, this decision by the
British voters.
British, yes.
Well,
because I think it's I think for me one of the key issues in the EU is that people have forgotten why the EU was built. I mean, I was referring to the Peace and Prosperity Project. Most of the people now living in the EU are people who have never been confronted with war, because, there are young generations. My parents lived during the Second World War. It was not my case. And more, we have taken in the EU that peace as something which is given.
Its own
it's
dividends.
Granted, exactly. It's granted to the EU, and that's it. And I think that is a big
achievement.
It's a big achievement, but it's something that you have to keep,
but
and it's something you have to defend as well.
Yes.
It's not something which is a given. Okay. You can have setback on that.
But despite the achievements of the member countries of European Union, that you have been able to achieve peace and stability through this organization, through European Union, but it still seems that dissatisfaction is being expressed among the member states, and it is simmering. Do you think that there could be more countries who could follow the British pattern, or they could follow the footsteps of the UK voters?
I think what is important to keep in mind, which is also worrying, is that dissatisfaction is maybe within, governments of our different member states. But what I can see is also, that for me is the most worrying trend, is within the citizens of the EU. And I think there has been probably a lack of communication, a lack of understanding of what the EU has been doing and what the EU has achieved. I mean, it's something that it's a debate which is going on now in the EU. And we have seen, unfortunately, parties who are taking advantage of that and who are running, I would say, populist programs, inward-looking, rejecting, the solidarity, which is the basis of the European Union.
Yes.
I think that is very important for the EU project. It's a solidarity between people, solidarity between countries. Yeah. I mean, if you look at how, for example, if you take the latest enlargement in 2004, when we had 10 countries joining the EU in one go, when you look at the data in where they were before and where they are today, I mean, clearly you have seen how the efforts of the citizens of the Western Europe, if I can put that, have helped the citizens of the Eastern
European
Europe
countries
to catch up.
Yes.
So it's what I'm talking when I'm talking about solidarity. It's what I'm talking. But at the same time, people are concerned because they feel that their life on a daily basis is threatened by the EU and by this big market, by the fact that people can move from one country to another country. So it's clear. I mean, there are clear challenges. There are clear concerns by those people that the EU and the EU member state should address. But let me just take an example. Taxation. We know that taxation is an issue because you have different taxation systems in the EU.
Yes.
So you have obviously big companies who are playing with that, transnational companies who will, set up their headquarters somewhere to make sure that they can get the best deal, and at the same time run their business in another country. There is no national solution to that. The best solution and the only solution will be at European level. And it's not easy to accept, it's not easy maybe for citizens to always to understand what is at stake, but if EU member states alone wants to deal with some of these monsters, I would say, that are some of these transnational companies, it will be very difficult. If we are all together, the 28 member states, the largest economy in the world, then we will have a much more stronger bargaining power there.
But as a seasoned diplomat, what in your view is, the situation right now? Do you think that the advantages that the European Union population as a whole had by joining this union outweigh the disadvantages?
I mean, for me, it's clearly yes. I mean, there is no question about that. I don't want to focus too much on the issue of peace because I think, as I said before, it's really for me the overarching achievement of the EU. It's something that people really have to realize, and I guess that most of them realize it when they see, what on TV, what is going on all around the world. I think it's something which is, and we know also, let's be clear, that the world is not a secure one, and the EU is not, is not living in isolation. I mean, there are threats around the EU as well, and we have to be
part of the global community.
Exactly, yes. And we have to be serious about the threats which are also around the EU. So I think we have to realize that. But after, when it comes to on a daily basis, actually for EU citizen, I mean, in terms of advantages, I mean, I don't want, only to mention the fact that today, for example, if I want to go to Belgium, I just take my car and then I go to Brussels and that's it. I don't know actually where the border is anymore. I mean, in terms when it comes to environment, when it comes to food safety, when it comes to the way that the EU, for example, recently has taken a decision. And when it says the EU, it's important to say that decisions are not taken by the EU. Decisions are taken by the member state of the EU. Yes. In the frame of the EU. I've taken the decision, for example, that we should not have any more roaming charges when we are from one country to another.
One country to other.
Yes. So meaning that only one, I would say, only one place for the EU when it comes to this kind of issue of internet on mobile phones. So all these are quite often not visible for the people. It's a little bit like a window. You don't see it, but then when the window is not there anymore, then you understand. You realize that yes. you are going to miss it. Yeah. The EU is a little bit like that in the daily life of the people. They don't realize that all the achievements which are being made at European level, but if they would have to realize that it's not there anymore, then they will feel it very strongly. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. We'll take another short break and come back and discuss more about EU-Pakistan relationship. नाज़रीन एक मुख्तसर ब्रेक लेते हैं. ब्रेक से वापसी के बाद हम पाकिस्तान में EU के सफ़ीर से पाकिस्तान को बताया कि वो किस तरह से ट्रीटी ऑफ रोम ने मौजूदा यूरोपियन यूनियन को जन्म दिया था. Pakistan and European Union. European Union is a great help to Pakistan in terms of providing, assistance in various fields. GSP Plus agreement is one, which is very important, and Pakistan is a beneficiary of that. On the GSP Plus, are you recommending that everything is okay, or you have some reservations?
I have some comments, and they are not reservations. I have some comments. I mean, there are two legs in GSP+. One is trade. The other one is how Pakistan is implementing a number of international conventions. On the trade side, and it's something I'm used to say since I arrived in Pakistan, is I think Pakistan is not yet using the full potential of GSP+. I think it's an excellent opportunity for Pakistan to explore new avenues of export to the EU, to diversify. It's not the case yet. I think I would encourage, and that's something I discuss on a regular basis with the government of Pakistan, but also with the business community. There is a window of opportunity with GSP+, which gives to Pakistan a comparative advantage. You have to use it to explore new avenues, to diversify your export to the EU. Well, we can help, but after I think it's also in the court of Pakistan on that.
Right.
The second one, when it comes to the 27 international conventions which are linked to GSP+, we issued a report in January 2016, which so more than 1 year ago, which shows how Pakistan has complied with the reporting to the UN for these different conventions, but also points out that Pakistan now should go for a proper implementation of some of them. So it's what we are looking at now, it's what we are discussing with the government of Pakistan, which what we are expecting as well, to see on some of the issues clear positive steps in terms of implementation.
Right.
There will be a new report which will be issued in January 2018.
By the European Union?
By the European Commission in this particular case, right. Yes. And submitted to European Parliament and EU member states.
Right. Ambassador, you have said that that's your assessment, that Pakistan is not fully taking advantage of this GSP Plus. But are you suggesting or giving some ideas to your counterparts here in Pakistan or the business community how to utilize, how to have the maximum benefit from this GSP Plus?
I mean, we are discussing it, obviously, but we are trying to explore with the government of Pakistan and the business community, what could be the new avenues, opportunities. I mean, Pakistan is rather strong when it comes to IT, for example. I mean, you have some very good companies who are working on IT, on the soft side of IT. I mean, why not, trying to see how to better promote that in the EU? That could be one option, for example. You are blessed by with all the fruits you have in Pakistan. I mean, from South Karachi with mango to the north of Pakistan with nuts and whatever, cherries and I mean all that. I mean can be also to see how can you work on that. I mean how can you process that. Dates. I mean, for example, I just learned a couple of months ago that dates around sugar are exported as raw dates and processed in other countries, not in Pakistan.
Yes.
Why not developing, process plants in Pakistan and then export them to the EU? I mean, so they are trying, at least to take some even small initiatives, but just to see how it can develop.
You and Pakistan they were working on a new engagement plan. And where is it now? Where does it stand now?
But we are just finishing with so-called Pakistan-European Union 5-year engagement plan, and we are now discussing a new plan, which will be a strategic engagement plan.
3 years?
We don't know yet. It's under discussion. Should it be, open-ended, or should it be time-bound? We don't know. It's a discussion we have with the government. But I think what is important is the fact that we, both sides, have decided to label it strategic. It's a bit of a jargon in the diplomatic environment, but it means that the relationship between the EU and Pakistan have matured, that both sides feel more confident, and we are now ready, to upgrade, I would say, our relationship. And when we are meeting, not only to discuss bilateral relationship, but to discuss also other issues happening around the world, and to see how both sides, maybe on some of those issues, we can work together.
Right.
So it's what means is strategic, which is important.
Okay. And
so hopefully we will have something finalized maybe after summer. That maybe can be endorsed by our respective leadership before the end of the year.
Right. But what are the salient features? What would be the salient features of the strategic engagement plan?
For example, just to give you a couple of examples, we want, for example, to try to strengthen our cooperation on security matters.
Okay.
We have already dialogues with EU and Pakistan on some of the issues, on counterterrorism, on non-proliferation. We would like to develop also the dialogue between what is called staff-to-staff talks, meaning at military level as well. And we would like to have a more comprehensive dialogue when it comes to security, and instead of having kind of piecemeal approach, something which is a bit more integrated and more structured with Pakistan. So that is, for example, one example. Trade, we have the GSP Plus, but what is going to happen after GSP Plus? So that also is something we want to discuss, and especially Pakistan wants to discuss with the EU. Energy. We had an energy meeting 2 months ago back in Europe with Pakistan. So how can we build on this first meeting with Pakistan on energy? Pakistan is in big need of energy still. How the EU can also bring into Pakistan maybe also the sustainable aspect of that. The green energy in Pakistan.
When it comes to energy, what the European Union has in its mind, in what way it could help Pakistan overcome its energy crisis? Are you going to help Pakistan to produce more energy, specifically in hydropower or in the renewable energy resources?
That will be probably the case, but it's already the case actually. We do already have a number of projects with micro hydrel in Pakistan, especially in KP, for example. We have a number of them. We do have also a couple of projects on bigger hydro scheme in KP. So it's probably one aspect of it, but what also the EU can bring, it's other type of renewables. We are quite strong in wind, especially with some of our countries.
And solar energy as well.
Solar as well, but also integrated smart grid. Important also, how to make sure that you have a functional grid. So all these kind of aspects were discussed in Brussels 2 months ago, and I think Pakistan, it was a kind of eye-opener for some officials of Pakistan to see all the resources that could come from the EU in terms of know-how,
in energy field.
Exactly, experiences in energy. Yes.
थैंक यू मिस्टर नाज़रीन, आज हमारे इस प्रोग्राम में पाकिस्तान में EU के सफ़ीर ने EU के हवाले से बताया कि ट्रीटी ऑफ रोम के नतीजे में ये इतनी बड़ी तंजीम जो है वजूद में आई है और इसने बड़ी कामयाबियाँ हासिल की हैं। उन्होंने پاکستان میں خواتین کے حقوق کے سلسلے میں خاص طور پر خواتین کو ووٹ دینے کا جو حق ہے اس کے حوالے سے انہوں نے بات کی اور کہا کہ ہم پاکستان کی مدد کریں، خاص طور پر الیکشن کمیشن کی، کہ بہت سے ایسے علاقے جہاں پہ خواتین کو ووٹ دینے کا حق نہیں ہے اور وہ پارٹیسپیٹ نہیں کر پاتی جمہوری عمل میں، وہاں ہم انسینٹیو دے رہے ہیں اور کوشش کر رہے ہیں کہ زیادہ سے زیادہ خواتین جو ہیں اس ڈیموکریٹک پروسیس میں حصہ لیں۔ اور انہوں نے اس کے علاوہ پاکستان اور یورپین یونین کے درمیان تجارتی تعلقات کے حوالے سے توانائی کے شعبے میں تعاون پر گفتگو کی ہے، اور انہوں نے بتایا کہ پاکستان اور یورپین یونین کے درمیان ایک اسٹریٹجک انگیجمنٹ پلان جو ہے وہ وجود میں آنے والا ہے، جس سے کہ پاکستان اور یورپین یونین کے درمیان تعلقات جو ہیں مزید مستحکم ہوں گے۔ اسی کے ساتھ یہ پروگرام ختم ہوتا ہے۔ جاوید صدیق کو اجازت دیجیے، خدا حافظ۔ Thank you, Ambassador. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure.
Thank you
Always.
very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.